Hey everyone, what I've got here is the original Elgato Stream Deck. I bought this about 9 years ago and 9 years later I'm still using it. This completely transformed my YouTube streaming and recording setup, and you can see that right now it's showing a little red symbol there because I'm recording through OBS right now. Now, since it was released, Elgato have released many variations of the Stream Deck. They released an update to this version, the 15 key version. They've released a 6 key version. They've released a 32 key version called the XL. And more recently, if you watch my channel, you'll know that they have released the Corsair Galleon 100 SD. So this is a mechanical gaming keyboard which has an integrated Stream Deck. But the one that I always thought was the most powerful and perhaps the most practical was the 32 key XL because it has the most keys. But I never got round to buying it. But thankfully, recently Elgato sent the XL out to me for review. So in this video, I'd like to discuss it and just talk about my experience of using it so far. The Stream Deck XL uses the same Stream Deck application that all Stream Decks use, but the hardware is better than the original. The 32 key XL version currently retails at £230 here in the UK and $250 in North America, though you will see it on sale during Black Friday and other big sales events. A quick start guide is provided in the box to help you get started. Underneath, you will see the Stream Deck XL itself, which looks fantastic with its user-friendly magnetic stand. A 1.5 meter USB Type-C to Type-C cable is also provided in the box, with its connector stating that it uses a USB 2.0 connection that is rated at 480 megabits per second. Once you have connected the Stream Deck XL to your computer, simply connect it back to its magnetic stand. So here I have my original 15 key Stream Deck and my newer Stream Deck XL. And I'm using the term newer because this isn't new. It has been out for a few years now, but this is new to me. Now, both of these use the Stream Deck app, and that app requires macOS or Windows. But the great thing about the application is that it allows you to connect as many Stream Decks as you wish, and then you can configure and customize them. So right now I've got the OG Stream Deck, the XL, and I've got the Corsair Galleon 100 SD with the integrated Stream Deck, but I could connect another 10, 20, 50. I'm not aware of any limitation or any max amount of Stream Decks that can be connected. Now, from a hardware perspective, both of these look good, but I think the newer Stream Deck XL, the plastic looks nicer, the logo looks a little bit nicer, and the buttons are very similar, but I mean, there's not a huge amount in them, but they do seem a little bit nicer, but that might be just because they're new. The original Stream Deck was good. It was quite thin, it was quite light, but it did have that fixed cable. So this was a fixed cable that went to a Type A connection, and it was a concern for me, but it was never an issue. But if this was frayed or damaged in any way, the Stream Deck would have to be thrown out. But with this one, if there's any issues with that cable, you simply replace it. So there's no issues there. So right now, both of these are not in any stands, and you can see that when you don't have a stand, the Stream Deck XL is still at a pretty good angle. It's still at a nice angle, folks. So I think for a lot of people, you might just have it like this. You don't need it to, to be at a higher angle. But you could also position it against a wall or something if you wish. Now, the older stand from years ago, this was, I mean, it did the job, but it was quite poor. I mean, you can see it's really flimsy plastic. It's really cheap plastic, and it allowed you to put it flat, or I think what most people did was picked one of the angles here, and then you just sat your Stream Deck on it. It did work okay, but if you're moving it, sometimes it would just fall out, and then you would lose the position. You'd have to reset it. Not a deal breaker, but it was never a fantastic design. This is a lot better. You simply feed your cable through the back of the magnetic stand, and then, yeah, it just connects. As long as the cable doesn't cause any issues, it will connect there. And that's the angle that you get. It's not adjustable. You cannot adjust that height now, but I think most people will be happy with it. I think this is the perfect angle for most people. I think most people will be happy with that angle. But if I go kind of gonzo on you guys and just show you the angle here, if I set them up like this, if I change to my webcam, you'll see that they're both at a very similar angle actually. So this is kind of similar to one of the original angles. And I think most people are going to be happy with that angle. I think most people are going to like that on their desk. And yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be unhappy. They're quite smart with the angle that they've chosen there. So yeah, it works okay. So from a hardware perspective and from a software perspective, you know, the XL is fantastic. It really is. Now, if I take it off the stand just now, I want to show you this. This is the default profile, and this is what you get when you buy it. And this is just to get you started, but it's quite useful, and it's a profile that you can delete, but it is worthwhile keeping. So you can see there's the escape key, there's some shortcuts to screenshots, etc. There's an apps folder there, picks up some different apps for you to add. And you can add to this, you can take away, you can customize it. There's links there as well, cut and paste, and the Finder window. And that's there because I'm connected to a Mac Studio just now. So this is a great way to see what the Stream Deck can do. So it reverts back to this profile initially. You can expand it, you can build upon this, or you can start from scratch. Now, if I jump to the browser, I don't want to delve deep on this too much, but just be aware that there's thousands of plugins and icons and profiles and screensavers. So you can really set up Stream Decks any way that you wish. You know, it really is up to you how you set it up. At the moment, I was playing about with some different ones. I added a number pad, this one here, and I added Mac shortcuts. I'm not finding myself using them, if I'm honest, so I think I'll end up removing these profiles, but just to show you, I can show you the Mac. There's the Mac shortcuts, kind of similar thing. You know, you can see mute, cut and paste and whatnot. And the other one was the number pad. I might keep this one actually. It's quite handy to have a number pad there. The reason I'm saying I might delete it is because I've got it on my Corsair Galleon 100 SD. But the one that I've set up myself, my first profile that I'm keeping, is for OBS. So there's what I've set up just now. Now I'm going to add different profiles in the future for DaVinci Resolve and different things, but what this does is illustrate the beauty of the Stream Deck XL, why it's so good and why it's so useful. With the smaller Stream Decks, you'll reach a point where you fill the screen like this, and then you have to use pagination and use it that way to get to what you want. More than twice as many keys here. It just gives you more flexibility with what you can put on the one page. So what I've got here is pretty much everything I need to record on OBS. So I've got this. These are multi-action keys, and what this does is switch to my normal 16:9 ratio profile, so like normal videos like this, and then I can switch to a YouTube Shorts profile. And these ones will switch between the cameras. So, obviously that switches to the main, that switches to the browser, and then I switch back to the overhead camera. I've got some microphone buttons here as well. This is just my regular microphone, and there's no filters. But the one that I normally use, and the one that I'm using just now with you guys, has some filters on it. So it just removes some background noise, etc. But I do sometimes use this one because if I'm doing an unboxing or something, I want to hear some of that noise. I've got shortcuts to all of these here, and then I've got all my Elgato lights. So these are things that I've added to all of my profiles because I access them so much. But what I've got here is my left, center, and right Elgato light, and then the Elgato Mini, which is over there. And the good thing is I can put the brightness down, and you can see that's been down because it's not at 10%. But at any point I can just reset it. And that's something I do have to do sometimes. I do have to reset it sometimes because there's certain things when I'm doing an unboxing, for example, white boxes are quite reflective. I have to turn down my lights. And this just makes it easier to do that because I can adjust the lights and then reset it, and I don't have to go into the Elgato control center to change those lights again. After using this setup for 4 or 5 days, it's really highlighted how useful the Stream Deck XL is. It really is. I spoke about this in my last video about the Corsair Galleon 100 SD, but I do think that with the Stream Deck, you only get from it what you put into it. You do have to spend some time setting it up, picking the icons, setting your shortcuts up, etc. But when you do set it up, you get more from it. And, you know, over the last week messing about with this, it's such a simple thing. You know, the original Stream Deck is amazing, but just having twice as many keys makes this so much more useful, so much more powerful. And for me, what I've got here is a complete collection of OBS keys. And in the future, I want to set up different profiles for, you know, different things, different applications that I use. And all of it's just to make me more productive when I'm sitting on this chair using this computer. So yeah, the Stream Deck XL has been out for a few years, and there's lots of different options to pick with Stream Deck, you know, how many keys you want, you know, which version you want, etc. But I think it is the most expensive, but I do think the Stream Deck XL is the best option. I really do. I think spending time with this, it's made me think, why didn't I get this years ago? I think 32 keys really does make a difference. It's not a gimmick. It's not just like more keys, oh, that's cool. No, it's actually incredibly useful because it reduces the amount of times you have to use pagination, etc. But the beauty of Stream Deck is that if you disagree with me, go with a 15 key option, go with a 6 key option, go with the keyboard option. There's lots of different Stream Deck options out there. You've got the one with the dials, etc. as well. But for me, this XL is excellent and I'm so happy with it. I really am. So yeah, there it is. This product's been out for years, but I wanted to give my 2 cents about it because I still think this is a valid product. It's still a product that I can recommend. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Please do leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And until next time, take care.